Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. You're not in church. You're here with hashtag Black Creatives. My name is Torrance Simmons, COO of hashtag Black Creatives. Come on in, come on in, come on in. So excited. Miss Leek, I see you. I am praying I can give you all some gems tonight. Thank y'all for coming out. I know we had to. Usually we do things on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Had to make some quick adjustments. Got a wedding to go to tomorrow that I'm in, and no, I'm not getting married. Already married, but I'm standing up for. My wife's aunt and fiance. So thank y'all for making the adjustment, taking the time out to come. For the people on YouTube, please put your questions, put your comments in the post. If you're on Twitter, we're going to try to grab your comments, but it's definitely better if you come over to YouTube so we can see them. We can throw them up on the screen. Just again, I can't thank y'all enough for being here. Oh, we got some more people in. I see Miss. I see Jordan. I see Anita Davis. If I missed you because they're coming in, okay, Detroit in the house. That's what I'm talking about. So thank y'all again for coming. We're gonna hop in and talk about something we hate talking about. Prices. That's right. Prices. Let's talk about it. All right. So who am I? Torrance R. Simmons. The R is important. Real quick story. There are actually three Torrance Simmons that I know of. Myself, there's a Torrance P. Simmons, and my wife actually met him we got somebody from Delaware in the house. My wife met him before we got married. We were sitting there. She was like, "You're not gonna believe this. I met a Torrance Simmons," and we're sitting there describing each other based on Google. But the third one was in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, if I'm not mistaken. I almost went to jail for him because he's the bad one. So I always put the R in there so I'm distinguished. But enough said, COO of hashtag Black Creatives, husband since 2010, father of two girls, as you can see, Charlie and Evie, retired referee, federal contractor, business coach, mentor, and not a random guy talking about money. All right. Not a random guy talking about money. Diana, I see you. So, what are we covering tonight? We are covering fear, fears about pricing, types of pricing, how should we, or how we should approach pricing, and next steps. All right. Ooh, good question already popped in. How, excuse me, I'm going to throw this up here. How to best handle shipping costs being a small business. Oh, I'm so glad you asked this question. I'm going to include that. That's included. Hold on to that. All right. But before we get started, I want to put a myth to bed. All right. I'm going to put a myth to bed. Money is the root of all evil. I know y'all are saying, Torrance, you out here quoting the Bible, calling it a myth. Well, if we want to quote the Bible, let's quote it correctly. 1 Timothy 6:10, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. For the love of money. All right. I know we hear it all the time. Money is the root of all evil. That's why we're kind of timid. Some of us are timid. It's the love of money. Money is a tool, but Just like with anything, if you love it more than anything else, that's when you start getting in trouble. All right. Now, let's get to the fears. Fears about prices. What are our fears and why? All right. Here we go. What we fear. We fear being wrong. What if I get the price wrong? Okay, what if you do? You can fix it. We also fear being right. I can't be right. Can I? Can this price be right? Ooh, we fear failure. I will not survive because if I raise my price to what it should be, no one will buy and I am going to fail. So we fear failure. Also, we fear success. I can't be this good. Can I? This ain't right. I don't deserve it. We fear rejection. I'm not going to raise my price to what it should be because I don't want to hear no. No is so devastating, Torrance. And guess what? You're going to hear no. You're going to hear people tell you that price is too high. That price is out of my price range. Oh, well. And last but not least, something that we fear is fear being an imposter. And all of these things may fit into this box, but some thoughts, they're going to find out that I'm not as good as I'm charging. And it's total BS. All right. Total BS. Oh, somebody just said the fear of no holds us back so much. It is so true. That rejection, let me tell you something. The best way to get over it is just to hear it. Quick story. So I'm job hunting back in 2000. When did I get married? 2010. Job hunting, and I want a certain price. I want a certain price, and I hear a recruiter, a headhunter, and the headhunter says, nobody's going to pay you that price. Get me that price. Get me that price. I heard no after no after no after no. Did I want to give up? Yes, but I kept hearing no, no, no. You know, when I got my yes, it was 30K more than what I was asking. That's when I got my yes. Get used to hearing no. Guess what? It's just going to make you better. I promise you, right? Why? I'm a first timer. This is my first shot at business or being an entrepreneur or being a contractor. This is my first time, which leads to I don't know what to charge. Torrance, I don't know. This is my first time. Or we have FOMO. Again, back to the fear of no, we fear missing out on a sale. So we drop in prices. I don't know how many people have been to Chinatown in New York, but they will drop a price until you buy. All right. We can't do that, right? They've already got it for dirt cheap. They know their baseline. So it's fun there. Stop fearing missing out on a sale. Set your price and keep going. FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. All right. When we hear no so much, fear, uncertainty, and doubt creeps in, and we go, am I doing it right? All right. Perception. We don't want to look like a crook. Already threw one myth out. Money is the root of all evil, right? That makes us think that we're crooks because we're charging what we're supposed to charge. We're charging what we're supposed to charge. That does not make us a crook. All right. Last but not least, value and worth. I don't know my value. I don't know my worth. Whew. This this last one right here made this presentation for me so hard because I wanted to just switch it and just pour into people about our value. So I'm not going to be long like an old Baptist preacher, but I am going to talk about our value real quick. I don't know my worth, a common phrase that many think, say, and or feel. If it's all three, give me a me in the chat. So if you have felt one of the three or all three, give me a me in the chat. Let's see. Oh, my chat may have froze up. But oh my God, we got to stop this right here, right? Oh, here they come. Here they come. I see them now. I see them. You are looking in the wrong place. You can't find your worth or value in the mirror. And I'm going to prove it to you. You can't find it in the mirror. Take a photo of yourself versus how you look in the mirror. In the mirror, Torrance looks a fine 185. Slim, cut, I can see a little bit of average. That photo, ooh wee. And that scale, Lord have mercy, right? But what we have to do, we have to look outside of ourselves, right? This is a conversation that I had with one of my mentees. She saw photos of her old work compared to her current work and the pride that she felt. And I responded, now you see how I feel about you, right? This is what we need to do. We need, as a community, to pick ourselves up. I just saw somebody say me times three. Yes, we need to pick ourselves up as a community, right? Jordan said, nah, you got to take that scale to Goodwill and keep it pushing. Thank you, Jordan, because the scale be lying out here. All right. So let's talk about one of the biggest plagues, right? Imposter syndrome. Anybody that knows me knows I like definitions, right? Reason being is because sometimes we get so caught up in social media definitions or reworking it, we forget, right? We get so caught up in the crowd's definition. But imposter syndrome, IS, the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own effort or skill. You can't believe in your success even though you've legitimately achieved it by your own efforts and or skills. Let's talk about some imposter syndrome types. This came from verywellmind.com. You got the superhero imposter who overworks to make up for this feeling. These people who don't stop working because they're trying to prove to themselves that they're worth it, that they deserve it. They deserve to be here. The natural genius sets goals so high because I'm going to do it because I gotta prove that I'm here. So I'm gonna set the goal so high that I know I can't reach it. So when I don't reach it, I'm crushed and I feel like a fraud. I feel like a failure, but I'm going to make my own destiny because I'm gonna set that goal so high, right? The expert, never satisfied with knowledge because they got to get more and get more and get more so they can feel like a subject matter expert in the field even though they know, and they got to get more and get more and get more. Stop it. Stop it. Execute, right? There's a saying that I heard last year. You don't know what you don't know. Then you know what you don't know. Then you know what you know. No, you don't know what you know. Then you know what you know. Meaning there's something that you don't know, right? So you don't know, you go learn it. Then you get to a point where you don't know what you know because you've been learning until you execute or until somebody asks and you start regurgitating, right? And then all of a sudden you know what you know, right? And that's fine. Perfectionist. You're so fixated on the flaws instead of the strengths. You ever been to somebody's house and they made a bomb meal? All right, I'm a fat kid. I like to eat. All right. They made a bomb meal. You finish eating it, you're doing that, you're rubbing your belly, sitting back, and they come up and got the audacity to say, "Oh, it's not my best. I didn't plate it right, or I forgot to garnish, or it had just a little bit too much salt." And you sitting here licking the plate, right? Tell them to shut the hell up. All right. Shut the hell up. You made an amazing meal. I am full. I got Tupperware because I got some African friends. I got Tupperware in the car. They taught me to get Tupperware instead of anyway. I got Tupperware in the car, ready for seconds. All right. So stop being perfectionist. Stop focusing on what you didn't do right and focus on what you did. I have a saying, and any of my mentees know I say you get the wins by taking them, right? Stop focusing on what you did wrong. What did you do right? All right. Soloists prefer to work alone because of the fear of appearing weak. I don't want to work with anybody so nobody will know how bad I am. Nobody will know how bad I am. If you think you're that bad, guess what? You need help and you need somebody to help you. Plain and simple. So, here's something that I don't think is said enough about business. Business has luck in it, right? Torrance, how can you say business has luck? Well, you have to have a ounce of luck for somebody to discover you, for you to be in the right place at the right time. But I worked hard, but somebody had to see it and somebody had to post it or somebody had to talk about it. But I got the right people and somebody had to say, this is amazing and give you a amazing review, but I did everything right. Exactly. Skill makes luck repeatable. For the people in the back, skill makes luck repeatable. Don't believe me? Think about this basketball game, halftime. You got the half court shot, right? So they call a lucky man, woman, child down to take a half court shot. Most of them miss. Some people get lucky. Listen to me, get lucky and hit the shot, right? All right, that's luck. Torrance, we know that's luck. But a few years ago in the NBA, there was a player that's still there by the name of Steph Curry. He started doing something that nobody thought about. He started pulling up at half court and shooting and making the bucket. And he did it over and over and over, so much that he shoots, turns around, the ball goes in. But he's an NBA player, Torrance. That's his skill, right? He has a skill of dribbling, he has a skill of shooting, and a skill of passing. Skill makes luck repeatable, all right? You all have the skill, whether it's to make a product or a service, you got the skill, right? Remember, stop saying, I just got lucky. You have the skill, so your luck can be repeatable. Yes, you got lucky over and over and over and over again because you have a skill. All right. Look at your niche for your value. Now, I know I just stepped on some toes. What is a niche? The proper way to say it is niche, but the reason why I call it niche is because of the saying there are riches and niches, right? Is the proper way is niche. I'm from South Georgia, y'all excuse me, but look at your niche, right? Or your niche. When is the last time you talked to your customers? Truly talk to them. Ask them how your product, service has helped them. Ask them what they need. Ask what other issues could or what other things could be issues for you. Ask the questions. And here's the important part: shut up. Ask the question and shut up. The reason why you got to shut up is so you can listen and take notes. All right. You can do this in a group setting. You can do it on a one-on-one call, in surveys, etc. Give away something if you need to, so they'll show up. But it's okay. Talk to them, get to know them, and you'll find out that your product or your service is actually helping them out a lot. But you'll also find out there is some potential room to grow there as well, right? This is my favorite. This is my favorite right here. But they're being nice. They don't want to hurt my feelings. Oh, they just bought from me to be nice. They're not being nice if they keep coming back and coming back and coming back and sharing your stuff, sharing your posts, telling people about your service. They're not being nice. They're being loyal. All right. Because you deserve it. You're valuable. All right. I know we're talking about prices, but there's a part of pricing we got to get through, and that's our self-worth and our self-value. All right. Now, try not to become a person of success, but rather a person of value. Become a person of value. Torrance, I see all these influencers with all these followers and all this and all that. I'm not going to speak on any influencer. Some are bringing value, others are not, right? But try to become a person of value, right? If people are coming to you asking you questions in your space on how to do something and you're giving answers, or if somebody's asking a question and you know the answer, you can bring that person value because you're valuable. I'm going to say it again. You are valuable. All right. If you don't believe it, listen to Torrance. You are valuable. I just started. You're valuable. How, Torrance? Because there are people that need people like you to start, to work with them, to walk with them through it. You're valuable. I've been in it for so long, I don't know the new stuff. Shut up. You're valuable. All right. I know I'm being a little harsh, but I need you to shut up and listen to me. You are valuable. You have experience, right? I met an artist and he was drawing on an iPad, older guy. He was like, I don't understand why these guys, these newer guys can't do it. And somebody had to say, because of your experience, you knew how to transition over because you did it the hard way for so long. That is important, okay? Going through trials and tribulations, there are life lessons in there. That's why they say you'll never make a skilled seller with a calm seat. You have to go through trials and tribulations to understand, right? Now, how should we approach our pricing? This is what y'all are here for. So here it is. Here's the formula. X equal cosine of time divided by money spent squared times earth rotation minus pi times mc squared, time divided plus a negative 10, X equals price. Pricing is not calculus. All right. Many times we think hard on how to figure out the price. Now, I'm going to give you a few techniques to get to your foundational price. All right. What is your market charging? And this came up in our community of how to figure out, right? Here's one of the quickest ways, right? What is your market charging, right? This is a great place to start. Find something or someone adjacent to your product or service that let that be the starting point. But here's the important part. You don't want to do your market a disservice by undercutting and undercharging. What most people do is say, oh, they're charging $10. I'm going to come in at 7 so I can get their sales. Well, what happens when famine comes? You didn't properly prepare. You don't know why they set their price at 10. You just saw a number and you went below. Either you're trying to get their sales, or, and again, why I went through value first, or you go, I'm not as good as 10, so I'm going to charge 7. Famine is coming. For a lot of people, famine is here now, and it's called inflation. For so long, we've been immune to inflation, but gas prices are going up. Gas has nothing to do with inflation. All right. Gas is something with OPEC. All right. Inflation is the cost of bread, cost of milk, the cost of groceries, and, well, Torrance, the prices aren't changing. Check the sizes. I bet you the sizes are changing. The price may stay the same, but the size of the box of cereal, right? The box, when I was growing up, was that thick. Now it's about that thick. Same face, thinner, right? Price stayed the same. Okay, what do you do if you don't have access to what the market is charging? Good question. And I'm going to get to that in 1 second. How do I find the adjacent pricing? You can do it one of two ways. Do a Google search. Take the top 3 natural results and compare. Again, Google and the natural results. The reason why I say the natural results, Google has pumped the top 3, 4, or 5 spots with paid advertisement. Don't believe me? Search for something, and why is the number 1 result a competitor of what you search for exactly, right? So take the first 3 natural results, compare. All right, you may see one that's way too high or way too low compared to the other 2, or all 3 may be spot on. There you go. That's your starting point. Competition. Ask others in the space what they're charging. Cable companies do it. All right. Believe it or not, cable companies do it. Big business does it, right? But here's the thing. I know you may say, why would my competition want to help me? Here's why. People in the same domain wants their domain to do well, right? Again, money is not the root of all evil, the love of money, right? So I listened to a podcaster, and here's a quick story. 2 podcasters, one had been in the space for a few years, and a brand new one, right? The brand new one came in, caught on fire, took off, started a course in the podcasting space. The older podcaster was like, I want to start a course. Asked the newer podcaster, hey, I'm thinking about starting a course. The newer podcaster said to him, I've been waiting on you. Our space needs you. Also, if you don't believe it, Tony Roberts, Robert Kiyosaki, Dave Ramsey, on and on and on, they all sit at the same table. They write financial books. Why would they sit at the same table if they're competitors? Bill Gates and Steve Jobs sat at the same table. Why? Because they want their space to do well. Tax companies, TaxSlayer, TurboTax, H&R Block, they all lobby together at Congress. I'm just saying, you can ask your competition. It's not as far fetched as you think, right? Things to think of: lifestyle. How much is my life I want to live, right? Think about that. For my service people, how much do you want to make per hour? All right, keep those two things in the back of your mind. The two types of prices I'm talking about: products and services, right? Now, I know you may go, well, what about hybrid? What about like Peloton? They got a product and a subscription, so they got a product and service. We're not good at our product or service, so why would we do hybrids, right? Lakeisha said the pricing I see through Google is different from what I hear word of mouth. What I hear word of mouth is way higher. That is going to be true. All right. So that's when you're asking your market word of mouth, what what are you charging in your area? That is oh, Rita, I see that. So that's one of those competitor things, word of mouth. That's your competitors in your market versus Google. All right. Again, what we're talking about, products and services. So if you can't get the pricing in your market, right, and competition won't talk to you. Somebody said I'm in Trinidad. There's no Google prices. Keep listening. Here you go. If you remember the first two questions that I said, what lifestyle you want to live and how much per hour you want to make. Remember that. So, for products, first we need to figure out the cost of goods. How much is the cost to make one unit? Include taxes, processing, shipping, etc. per ingredient. I see way too many times that people say, all right, the price on the website is this for this particular thing. So that's going to factor in. Well, how much does it cost to get it to you? For my people on the island, your shipping costs may be extra. You got to include that in the cost of goods, right? When you get your total for one unit, I want you to add 15 to 30%. I'm going to tell you why in a second, but add 15 to 30% of that total. Cost of time. Also, something we don't do a good job of in our product making creativity. We don't figure out how much time it takes to make one unit. Even if you have a batch process, take the total time it took you to make that batch, divide it by the number in that batch. That's the time for that one unit. So keep COG and COT in place. COG is going to equal X, COT is going to equal Y. All right. Now you know what your minimum price is to cover the cost of the good. Now you know how long it takes to make one unit. So the price that you were charging, does it truly cover the cost for that one unit? So if you're out here charging $5 and it takes $6 to make it, you're losing a dollar. You're fighting an uphill battle. And you're probably not going to win, right? The reason I say probably, there is some strategy behind that, but we won't talk about that. Also, it takes you wide time to make it. So if you're charging, say you're charging $10 and it took you $2 to make, but it took you 8 hours to make it, is $10 worth it? Is it worth it, right? So can we reduce X with bulk pricing? Because a lot of times in our product space, we'll go to our local store, we'll buy from Family Dollar, we'll buy from Dollar Tree, we'll buy from Five Below, Walmart, and we pray that they have it in stock, right? Go online to see if they have it in bulk. Buying in bulk reduces your price. Also, the process to make it. Have we looked at, is there a better way to make it? For my soap, my candle people, using bigger pots helps you speed up the process because you don't have to cut your wax or whatever to melt it down to mix it. You don't have to cut it so many times and repeat that process over and over and over, right? Reed, I saw you with the ad 15 to 30%. And I'm gonna tell you why in a second. Matter of fact, I'll tell you right now. The reason why for the cost of good we add 15 to 30% is because if you add 15 to 30%, you're fighting a few things when making products. You're fighting breakage and you're fighting inflation. So, for my people who would have made their product and added 30% to that cost of good, when January or when December hit, when January hit, February hit, March and April hit, for some of their products, inflation rose the price between 8 to 12%, just like that in months. Guess what? At 30%, you've already absorbed that cost. So while your competitors are pricing perfect and having to raise their price, you're a little more resilient against raising your price, right? So that's why I say add 15 to 30%. On services, execution time. And I see this over and over and over and over. How long does it take you to execute the entire service? Include pre work, post work. So, example, photographers, you have to plan with your clients, right? Include that time. What about post work after you shoot? You got to edit, you got to code, you got to do all this. That's included in the time, not just the time in front of the client. If you do other services, right, you're talking to people, and guess what? You got to go do research. If you go do research, right, that is time away. Even though you're not in front of the client, that time needs to be included as well, right? Also, additional help. I know some of my photographers may say, well, I outsource my editing. That has to be covered, that cost. Are those additional labor costs covered? If so, are you adding extra money in there for managing them? Probably not. You should. I usually add 15%, right? But you can add more if you need to, right? Because you have to manage those people. You got to get paid for everything you do, right? You're worth it. I told you that up front. Now, Murphy's Law is something I take serious. Take that time and add 15 to 30% to it. This helps with Murphy's Law. Here's why. Execution time adjustments. Have you clearly stated the work that will be done? I don't care how many times I say I'm only doing X, Y, and Z, a client will try to scope creep. What if it happens? Are you going to charge the client more on a scope creep? If you do, that is perfectly fine. What if they want to cut things out to drop the price? Are you prepared for that? If you drop the price, how does that affect the contract with your staff or with outside labor? How does that affect all of that, right? So, some of you may say, Torrance, adding 15 to 30% feels dirty. Here's your answer. Here's your answer right now. If that feels dirty, after the contract is executed, what you did not use of that extra 15 to 30%, give it back to the client. Because I'm pretty sure you're going to go over what you estimated time was, right? Here's the nice thing about adding that 15 to 30%. Say something happens you didn't know about and you need to add 35%, but you've already buffered for 30. Now all you have to do is say, hey, I only need 5 extra percent. 5 is better than 35. What if you said 30 and you only needed 25? You look like a hero, right? But there's more. Now we know how to get the foundation, whether we can Google it, we can talk to our competition, or we can do it ourselves, right? But there's one more thing to add to the equation. There's a missing variable to factor in: perceived value. What are people willing to pay for the product or service? Have you asked your niche what they're willing to pay? Do you even know what your niche is? Is your product or service even helping your niche? Right? The perceived value. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. My toilet is stopped up. I ain't got one in my house, and it's stopped up. It's overflowing. There are only two plumbers in town. One to charge 50 and the other charge 500. Which one do you choose? I want y'all to put in the comments which one you're going to choose. Are you going to choose the 50 or the 500? I know it seems like a no-brainer, but I need people to tell me what you're choosing. All right, I'm starting to see some numbers come in. Now, what if I tell you the $50 plumber can't get to you until next Tuesday, but the $500 plumber can get to you in 5 minutes? The perceived value just changed, right? It's an overflowing toilet. You could look up on YouTube, you could go to the hardware store, you could buy the snake, you could buy the plunger, you could buy whatever you think YouTube is telling you to do to unclog this toilet, praying it'll work, or you could call a professional. The $50 is going to come next week, so you can ruin your towels, you can ruin your blankets, you could ruin your comforter, you could constantly be washing and washing and washing. Or you could pay $500 and have somebody out in 5 minutes, probably going to take them 5 minutes, and your problem solved. Guess what? Your perceived value was $500, right? That $500 is the best money you spent in that emergency, right? Because the guy showed up in 5 minutes. Because if you waited until next Tuesday, remember it's Wednesday, next Tuesday, water does damage, right? So now you got to rip up all the floors. You got to dry out everything. I promise you that $450 that you tried to save, the cost that you quote unquote saved, the Vacuum Pro people replacing towels, replacing furniture, constantly going. And guess what? Now you got to do the pee-pee dance. Now you got to go to the bathroom. That extra $450 was worth it, right? That's what we call perceived value, right? So next steps. Yes, the bathroom probably smells bad too, right? Water causes mold. Now you got to rip out stuff. That price has just gone through the roof. Yes, I made some of you feel bad, and I am truly not sorry because you needed to hear it, right? You needed to hear it. So, next steps: customer combo. Make sure you're being of value to your niche, right? Have a conversation with your customers. Here's something else. We talked about FOMO and all of that. Many of you probably have way too many services or way too many products. Reduce things. Take options that are not serving your business, not serving you as a creative, not serving you properly. Take them off, right? But such and such is doing it. Let such and such do it. So and so told me this. Is so and so you? No. Reduce your things. Go to Cheesecake Factory versus a taco truck. I promise you, you'll have a harder time finding something at Cheesecake Factory than you will at the taco truck. Update your pricing. Now, I know jumping from $5 to $25 is hard. I know jumping from 200 to 800 is hard, but it needs to happen. But Torrance is here to give you a suggestion. Plan your increases, right? So, say this quarter, I'm going to go up 50%. Okay, so now you're making 50% more in this quarter. Guess what? You just doubled your income. But Torrance, some people can't afford the double. That's why we have people that will still charge that, right? But there are people that are going to be willing, more than willing, to pay that price. You just doubled your income. Or if you didn't double your income, if your income stayed the same, you cut your time in half. It's a win-win. I don't see the problem. The next quarter, go up more. The next quarter, go up until you get to where you need to. Erica asked a great question. How do you inform clients of price increase? This is how you do it. You say, hey, we need to go up on our prices. We're no longer under that price structure. We're no longer doing it this way. But you've been with me for so long. I'm going to keep you at this price, an additional X. Or you can say, I'm going up on the prices, but since you've been with me for so long, I'm going to give you a discount on the increase, right? So if you're from 200 to 400, the legacy customers, they can come in at 300 for amount of time. Somebody asked about bundling. How about bundling services as you increase your price? Be careful with bundling. One thing that I do with a lot of people that I work with, I break everything in the bundle out. Make sure it's priced correctly, right? Then when you put it together, you know how much that bundle is worth. Then you figure out your discount from there. But you do the same thing. You increase each item slowly, right? It's a hard conversation to have with people. I get it. I had to help somebody through that conversation with their client, and it was a legacy client. But I had to step in and say, we're raising our prices to industry standard. Again, your domain, your market, your community of like minded creatives, they need to eat. So we're raising our prices to industry standard. In doing so, since you've been a loyal customer, you are a legacy customer, guess what? We're going to give you more than 50%. And it was a big jump, right? But we're going to give you more than 50% discount. Nobody else in the industry will give you that, right? I talk about this in my course around the word fair. I hate the word fair because it's a F bomb. It's a four-letter word that I hate. But here's the thing. People don't want to feel cheated. So if you tell them I'm going up to industry standard, use terminology like that. That'll help soften the blow. Some people will get it, some won't. If they don't, wish them well and keep going. Here is something else to keep in mind. If people say you are higher than me, you can recommend them to somebody else in the space that you trust that prices align more with them. That's perfectly fine. All right. Last but not least, ask for help. Ask for help. Ask for help. We did a workshop last week on asking for help. I mean, last month, I'm sorry, on asking for help. There's nothing wrong with asking somebody to walk you through it. Guess what? I do it at least once a quarter, if not more. Asking people, what do you want to make an hour? Most people will say 100. We figure out what they're doing. They're making 20 or less. You want to make what you're making, so we gotta step up. And here's how, right? I understand, and I see comments in about it's a struggle, right? I understand it's a struggle. I get it. I'm not out here just telling you do better, do better, do better. I get it that it's a struggle. But first, start with your value. Start with your market. Do your domain a service and charge correctly, right? Look to your customers. Are you adding value? Are you bringing value? If you are, listen to it, right? Listen to it. You're being valuable. And guess what? If you don't have money to rest or replenish, how can you continue to serve people with your product or service? If you don't have the proper income to take vacations and not rob Peter to pay Paul, how can you service people? So ask for help, right? I saw a bunch of stuff in the chat. If I missed you, we got two questions from Twitter. Melissa, can you throw them on the screen? Somebody also, okay. I have a fear of losing potential clients with pricing too much. How do I get past that? Here's a mantra that my wife says all the time. I am not willing to work with people who are not willing to pay my price. Remember, I said perceived value. People buy Burberry for the perceived value, right? People buy G Wagons, people buy uh, Lexus trucks, people buy Acura, Audi, when you could easily buy a Ford, a Chevy. You could buy anything. You could go to Target and get a handbag, but people want Burberry, Marc Jacob. Oh Lord, I think I just dated myself with that one. You could buy anything, right? But the perceived value. So yes, you are going to, when increasing your prices, you are going to outprice some people. But guess what? You're going to open yourself up to a whole new set of clientele. Don't believe me? Here's the thing. Some people value price with quality, right? So if your price is too cheap, they think it's not great quality. So they won't even mess with you. So if you start pricing correctly, people will start messing with you. You're going to outprice some people, but other people will start messing with you, right? Also, um, okay. Um, also, remember that if you don't have the income to take a break, and I wish I had a empty cup here. An empty cup. Nope, that got something in it. Oh, here we go. Cup empty. Can't get nothing out of it. Nothing. Nothing. You can't pour from an empty cup. So if we don't set our prices correctly, so we can take breaks, so we can rest, we can recuperate, we can't service our market if we know what our market is. So that's something else we got to figure out. What is our true market? Who are we servicing, or are we just out here doing it, right? Once you figure out who you're marketing to, right? And I always tell people start with three things: your why, your values, and your who. Those three things will make you successful in whatever you do. Your why. Why are you in business? I'm here to serve people. I'm here to help people who look like me. My coaching business is ZenCal. It loosely translates into Black Zen, but my why is to help the immature entrepreneur to a business mindset. I'm not trying to make millionaires. I'm trying to help people who look like me understand business better, right? Values, integrity, vulnerability, harmony are just three of the five. Who do I serve? I serve people. I don't want a brand new person into entrepreneurship. I don't want that person. And I don't want the person who has had so much success, I can't tell them anything. I want the person who's hit their head on the wall time and time and time again because you got scars that I can relate to. You got war wounds that I can describe that make sense. And I can tell you, here are the tweaks you need to make. That's who I service. I did a cohort last year, and everybody in there was an introvert. Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. I said it out loud. I'm an introvert. But stuff like this energizes me. I am my ancestors' wildest dreams, right? I'm three generations removed from slavery. My grandfather's parents were slaves. I've seen slave quarters, right? I didn't read about it in the book. I heard it orally, right? That's why I do what I do. That's why I'm passionate. That's what gets me going, right? So I know who I'm talking to. So when I want to do certain things, I talk to my avatar. If I want to add certain things, does it align with my why? Does it align with my values? Does it make sense to my avatar, right? These are the things that we got to start doing around our pricing, right? I know we're almost out of time, and I got to drop a couple of things in here so I don't lose my job. This is going to be the last public workshop for a while. I'm not saying this is the last one. This is the last public one, right? So we'll start doing them in our community. Speaking of our community, let me give me a second. All right, here we go. The purpose of our community is to help Black creatives get better, right? It's a space for freedom. It's a space to for lack of a better word, to fuck up and have people help you, right? To work through our fears, right? To say to be vulnerable, right? For lack of a better word, right? Again, we've asked the questions in the chat, but here's how you can get into the community. Here's the bit.ly link. Who all over there? Our founders from the Midwest, Melissa Kimball. She's not feeling well. That's why you don't see her. But Melissa has been doing an amazing job tonight in the background. I thank you for pushing through and helping me with this. But bit.ly, who all over there? That's how you can get in. If you have any questions, here's an email that you can hit. We have a community manager. Her name's Chrissy Davis. She couldn't make it tonight because we had to switch some things around, but her email is community@blkcreatives.com. Any questions that you have, definitely feel free to reach out. Chrissy's available. As soon as she sees it, she's going to answer your questions. And I know some people are talking about cost. How much is the cost? I didn't do this workshop to sell the community, but here it is. For those that are not in, our community is priced, I think, very well. If you want to pay per month, it's $10 a month. If you want to pay per quarter, you can save a few bucks and pay 27 per quarter. If you want to pay for the full year, it's $90 a year. To come in, this replay will be in the community. All our workshops will be in the community. Anything that you want to talk about is there. Also, I had a interview with one of our community members, and she just joined the team not too long ago. That's in there. Also, I'm going to do office hours next week to help any community members that want to go through pricing. All right, so next week we'll post the office hours that I'm available. I'm going to try to make them available for during the day and in the evening. So if you want to schedule something, you can schedule something. We can talk through it. It'll probably be 15 to 20 minutes so I can get as many people in as possible. But that's what we do in our community, right? We also give words of inspiration. We give shout outs. We celebrate wins, right? But we also talk about losses, right? Losses aren't what we think they are. They're learning opportunities, right? We have plenty of community people in the chats tonight that they can tell you how they enjoy the community. So again, if you want to join the community, the URL again is bit.ly/ who all over there. The cost is 10 a month, 27 a quarter, or 90 a year. So almost the cost of a Starbucks coffee. If you go to Starbucks twice in a month, you pay for the membership, right? So again, thank y'all for the time. I know I went over. Charge it to my head, not my heart. I'm just passionate about helping people. I hope that I was able to help somebody tonight. And as always, thank y'all so much.